Round 6 of the season would take us to Spain, and the circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya, a track that in the past has given us about as much action as Daniel Ricciardo has given me hope this year. With this then being the new 2022 car's greatest challenge yet, everyone was asking the big questions. Who out of Red Bull and Ferrari would dominate the circuit? Would Mercedes finally manage to bounce back? And at what point would Carlos Sainz make a tit out of himself this weekend? Hey there guys, I'm Will and welcome to FP1 and the Comedy Review, the show hosted by a man who grew 1 year closer to death last week. And I do want to say now a big thank you to everyone that sent their birthday wishes across. It really did mean a lot. If you want to give me a belated birthday present, then you can always drop the video a like and subscribe to the channel. But anyway, I think it's time we got into the Comedy Review of the Spanish Grand Prix.
We are a fucking bunch of wankos.
The Barcelona circuit was back then, but it appeared that not all drivers got the memo. Charles Leclerc mixing his dates and ending up in Monaco 2 weeks too early. Luckily for him, there were some classic cars doing the rounds, meaning the Monegasque could keep up his record of failing to see the checkered flag. But I think we all know what the main piece of news was this week, and for that, it's the return of Aston Watch.
What are we doing? Racing or ping pong?
Now, it's fair to say that Aston Martin's start to the season has been, well, a little bit shit. So, rather than fix it themselves and put the work in, Aston do what they always do when they're a bit behind, and just copy whoever's winning. The AMR22 showed up to the paddock looking suspiciously similar to Red Bull's RB18, but claimed that this was simply a coincidence, and that they've been working on this identical concept since the very start of the year. And in other news, I'm no longer a virgin. Just gotta add here, hats off to Sky Germany for asking Sebastian Vettel what it was like to drive a Red Bull again. Absolute f***ing crackheads, I love them. I'm just looking forward to Lawrence Stroll's text-to-speech statement in a couple of days.
I'm extremely angry.
Aston weren't the only team bringing upgrades to Barcelona, with the big outfits bringing significant aero developments and Williams bringing Nick de Vries. The Formula E champion was one of several young drivers sitting in for FP1, as well as Yuri Vips at Red Bull and Robert Kubica for Alfa Romeo.
Bruh.
It was typical Spain on Friday though, as being honest, nothing really happened. Charles Leclerc would top a fairly uneventful FP1, as the Mercedes and Alonso looked strong at the front end of the top 10. Second practice though was a little bit more action-packed, as drivers pushed the limits, Lando Norris treating his new upgrades like most Twitch streamers do to their expensive equipment. But the extreme heat was also causing problems, Porridge Man's Alpha preferring to sunbathe rather than take part in the session. Leclerc would finish in P1 yet again, but it was good news at Merc, who seemed to have finally sorted their porpoising issues in Spain. Then again, they also said that in Miami, so I guess I'll just go f*** myself. Unlike 2 weeks ago, however, Mercedes' pace seemed to continue into Saturday, with Russell and Hamilton 3rd and 4th heading into qualifying, and Mick Schumacher was also on fire, just only in a literal sense. The day's running would end with an hour of qualifying, where Aston Martin proved while you can still look like a Red Bull, with Lance Stroll and Seb Vettel, you're still not going to get out of Q1. I wonder what the Android's algorithm's saying right now.
I'm extremely angry.
Yeah, seems about right. While the Astons were no real surprise, the Alpine of Fernando Alonso definitely was, the homeboy failing to make it into Q2 and opting to start with a new power unit from the back of the grid on Sunday. Moving into that second session, Lando Norris looked fairly safe in the top 10. However, the race directors, in their continuing bid to make an enemy of all of Twitter, opted to delete his final lap for track limit violations. On the bright side, this at least gave Haas's Mick Schumacher his first Q3 appearance in Formula 1, and this Q3 session would see Leclerc show off what he learnt by driving loud as Ferrari at Monaco, and by that I mean spinning at the final corner. That would put Max Verstappen on top for the end of the initial runs, though fortunes would flip for the final laps of the day, as the Dutchman's Honda power unit decided to have another sulk in the heat. Leclerc, meanwhile, was able to recover and take another pole position in 2022, with Verstappen's initial time still good enough to remain on the front row. That then just leaves us with the Grand Prix itself, So let's dive straight into the action. The heat would ramp up for Sunday, and not just in Max Verstappen's cockpit, as the lights went out for round 6 of the season. Max got the better start, but Leclerc was able to cover off the Red Bull heading into turn 1, while Hamilton mistook Magnussen for Albon and binned the Haas into the gravel going through 4. The incident left the Brit with a puncture and down at the back of the pack, while Leclerc streamed away at the front of the field. At this point, the race would begin to settle down. That was until Carlos Sainz forgot he hadn't taken his customary trip to the gravel yet this weekend, losing the rear and the patience of Mattia Binotto. The Spaniard was able to recover to just outside the point, and his embarrassment would cool somewhat when 2 laps later, Max Verstappen decided he deserved a beach trip as well. The consequences were less severe for the Dutchman, as he emerged from his holiday behind a gripping battle between his teammate Sergio Perez and the Mercedes of George Russell. With Perez unable to get past the Brit, Red Bull told him to let their favourite son have a go. But Verstappen's DRS didn't quite get the memo on this one. While the Dutch Messiah took the Hamilton approach on team radio, his problems at least gave viewers a fantastic scrap in the fight for second, which became the fight for first when Charles Leclerc's Ferrari remembered it was an Italian. At this point, the strategy would begin to heat up, as Verstappen, Perez and Russell all went on different strategies as they fought for the race win. The Red Bulls will win this battle though, giving us a 2-horse race at the front, or a 1-horse race when you remember that one of those is Max Verstappen. Perez would be forced to go up the position, and at this point, what had been a fairly exciting Spanish Grand Prix remembered it was a Spanish Grand Prix again, and the action died away for the majority of the second half of the race. We would at least get a battle towards the end, as #Blessed had been quietly fighting his way through the field and was able to get past Bottas and Sainz to claim 4th. And I've realised at this point I haven't focused much on the midfield, so here's Lance Stroll being Lance Stroll. Anyway, in the closing laps, Mercedes got a bit hot under the collar when their engines started pissing themselves and the water leak almost forced them both into retirement. Hamilton may have dropped to 5th, but George at least had enough of a gap to remain on the final step of the podium, as Verstappen led home a Red Bull 1-2 as the checkered flag fell in Spain. Still, what did you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the comedy review, you can show your support by dropping the video a like and subscribing to the channel. With any luck, you'll start to see more videos popping up over the next couple of weeks, now my uni deadlines are over. So trust me, you're not going to want to miss what's next. And a big thank you as always to all the patrons. If you want to help me and the channel out, the link for that, along with our Discord and the rest of my socials, can be found down in the description below. Anyway, I'll see you very soon with another video, but until then, have a good one.